All right, so here's where we are and here's where we've been. Today, we learned inflation over the past year hit 2.9%. That is the first time it's been under 3% since March 2021. Today, President Biden suggested he feels vindicated and said this when asked if we've beaten inflation.
Yes, yes, yes. I told you we're going to have a soft landing. We're going to have a soft landing. My policies are working. Start writing that way, okay?
Now, no matter who you are, right, left, middle politically, rich, poor, anything in between, it doesn't matter. Inflation coming down is great news, period. But it's not period, end of story. After trillions of dollars were printed during COVID, the Federal Reserve raised interest rates, trying to cool an overheated economy. Interest rates then rose by roughly 5% as a result. So now, as inflation is coming down, here's the aftershocks, or at least some of them. Americans owe a record $1.14 trillion on their credit card. That is a record. 9% of credit card holders, for example, have balances that have now transferred into delinquency. Chapter 11 bankruptcies, talking about businesses here, are up 15% this year, and housing affordability hasn't been this bad in decades. We can tell you tonight that the Vice President, Kamala Harris, the Democratic nominee, will lay out her own vision on inflation on Friday, just a couple days from now. However, as the New York Times reports, advisors are expecting her economic message to be, quote unquote, light on detail. We'll get to the vice president and what you can expect from her later in the week here on the Hill. But we begin tonight with Donald Trump on issue number one, trying to get on message and if he can do just that. Congressman Ryan Zinke is a Republican from the state of Montana. You might also remember him as the Interior Secretary in the Trump administration. Congressman Zinke, thanks for being with us here on the Hill. Appreciate it. So we heard from Donald Trump today, an economic speech, an economic message. I remember going to the last one of these in 2016 when he was then candidate Trump, right? And he talked about the economy. It was the economy, economy, economy. Don't you just wish, Congressman, right now he would talk about the economy, the border, and nothing else?
Well, I like it when he does because he has a track record of success. You know, clearly, gasoline prices were hovering around 2. Energy, we weren't beholden to third parties and nations that hate us for energy needs. And, the inflation was controlled. Housing prices were affordable. So the policies of Donald J. Trump work. We've seen that over and over again. And yes.
So why doesn't he just talk? Why doesn't he just talk about? Why doesn't he just talk about those, Congressman? Because, for example, here was the former president earlier today, again, on an economic speech. He said this. I'll get your reaction on the other side.
I heard that laugh in about a week. That's why they keep her off the stage. That's why she's disappeared. That's the laugh of a crazy person, I will tell you, if you haven't known it. It's a crazy. She's crazy.
You want her talking about him talking about Kamala Harris like that?
Well, I don't disagree with his assessment, but having said that, it's Donald J. Trump. If you think you can keep Donald J. Trump within script, good luck. And that's part of his brilliance as well as his Achilles heel. You had to have a guy that's enormous amount of energy and delivers policy and does what he says. Although sometimes when he gets off script, who knows? But personally, I think this is a movement. I think that this election is even bigger than Donald J. Trump, as big as Donald J. Trump is. This is a movement, and I can't think of 2 candidates or 2 tickets that are further apart on the issues.
So no concern when he does stuff like that? Like, I hear you, Congressman, there say about the issues, and that's what I'm getting at. I wonder if you just think, and I hear you that no one can control him, right? And we know that. We've learned that over the last decade. But if you could talk to him, if you would tell him, would you say, Mr. President, just stick to the border and the economy?
Well, I love sticking to the issues because I think it's something you can win at. But by the end of the day, I work for him a lot. And this is Donald J. Trump. He is unpredictable, but he does listen and he does learn. And as a boss, he was magnificent. He gives people a lot of latitude, as he did me. And look, we fixed the energy. We fixed our parks. We fixed our forests. On energy and environment, there was no one better. So on policies, you're right. There is no one better than Donald J. Trump. On policies, I can't think of a worse combination between Biden, Harris, and Walz, and they're really one of three. You know, they're all singing the same message. But you're right, a distraction sometimes is the message when off the page too far.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.